Well, evening, folks. How you going? Guess you can see what I've spent my day doing. I hope you've been more productive. Hello to everybody who's sitting in the chat already. God, you're getting in early, folks. Maria, hello. Gordon, sea gypsies from Perth. Nice to have you in town. We get a lot of people watching from WA. Great to have you through. Hi, Chris. How are you, mate? Shell's in town, and Tash Marie is not here, apparently. At least that's what she's saying. Hello, Aussie Sue. Lovely to see you in. Paul was in, but apparently will be back in an hour. We will miss him. That is the kind of thing. And don't you love that? Let the talking circle begin. Absolutely. This is the place where we do a lot of talking. And there is a lot of talking to be done, folks. Some pretty interesting things happening in the world today. Of course, the big focus seems to be what's going on in Russia and Ukraine, and the mainstream media forever telling the stories that either the Russians are about to annihilate everybody or are about to be annihilated. The big thing is they are killing more civilians than anything else, and they're just horrible, horrible, horrible people. The Russians, the Russians, the Russians. Well, it's a little unfortunate, but some video has come out today from the Ukraine showing Ukrainian forces actually using drones, commercially available drones, to drop, anything from what looks like a mortar shell to a homemade explosive on civilians. Have a look. Well, we'll try to have a look. Doesn't want to play at all, doesn't it? Working well, isn't it? So there you go. There's no audio on this, but that's a drone image. It's got a drop release on it, drops down. That bloke walks away and runs. Thankfully, seems to survive that one, both the people nearby. This one has 3 people close by. Now, everybody there seems to still be moving, and at least mostly ambulatory. And this is what they're doing. They're hurting civilians. This is kind of shit that the Ukrainian military, those ones that are wearing the Nazi insignia all over their uniforms, that's the ones doing that. It's not the Russians doing that. So just be aware, folks. Some bloody horrible things are happening in this world. But can I also tell you, there are some bloody interesting things happening in this world and some wonderful things. So here's an interesting thing. This is what Bill Gates had to say before he became so interested in saving the world through
Ukrainian
vaccines.
Government is one of the worst in the world. And,
so he was doing an
controlled
interview
by a few rich people. I mean, really unfortunate for the people in Ukraine.
Yeah, that went well. Really unfortunate.
Ukrainian government is one of the worst in the world. And, corrupt, controlled by a few rich people. I mean, really unfortunate for the people in Ukraine.
Yep, really unfortunate for the people in Ukraine. He had that to say. A corrupt, awful government, can't work with them, yada, yada, yada. A few short years later, he's making vaccines and certainly working with the Ukrainians doing what they do. But can I also say there are some beautiful things that are happening in the world? And we've spoken about it here on the Voice of Freedom quite a lot. We're always got in mind to those folks who are waking up, those folks who have been dead set asleep. And some of them are finally starting to see the light, if you like, the forest for the trees. Now, we were wondering what it looks like when they're waking up. And we know that we are going to need to be compassionate. We know that we are going to need to be understanding and educational. Certainly none of the things that these people who are waking up finally were to us during the pandemic. But I just want you to have a look at this, because this is really the beginning of what I think is going to be a tsunami of folks like this.
Something has shifted. It's like everything makes sense now. To anyone else on this this adventure, fucking kudos, because To anyone who's been on it before and has helped all of us coming along afterwards, thank you. It all makes sense. I know, don't worry, I know I've got a shit ton to learn, but something's clicked for me, and I hope it is for all of you. Just like it all makes sense, you know? Yeah, I don't know how else to explain it. There you go. Have a fucking great day.
Yeah, how sad. People are waking up, and it's a real shock to them when the truth finally hits home. So they're the folks we need to be ready to meet, to greet, to wrap our arms around and support, as we do with so many folks. And I'm so pleased to be able to say that in our Freedom family, we are a very loving, very welcoming, very warm mob. And I've felt that warmth all over Australia, and I'm about to introduce a bloke who feels that warmth each and every day, no matter where he is. And I can say right now that from a secret location where he has been doing all sorts of studying, all sorts of swatting up, but most of all sorts of relaxing. Good evening, veteran Dan. How are you, brother?
Oh, mate, yeah, feeling a bit of peace, loving the weather. I hear I'm in this great country, Australia, and g'day to all your digital diggers out there upon the webinets and all the patriots across the nation, mate. Thanks for having me on board again. But, doing well.
Mate, it's great to see your face. We haven't caught up since, well, I was in Canberra, and you were standing beside the lake as usual. So let's go back. You were there celebrating the 12-month anniversary, and then you've jumped in the rocket. You put the trailer on the back, and you've done a little travelling.
That's it, mate. Got mobile mission control there, mate, and just taking a big breath of fresh air, looking from the outside the bubble, so to speak. I miss all my family down there in Canberra, and Corey is still there solid, mate. So I will get back to him very, very soon. But yeah, it wasn't well, needed a bit of recovery. So come up here for a bit of the fresh air up here Queensland way. So I'm just south of Brisbane. But I remain incognito from there, as you can see. Tropical backdrop, beautiful. La, 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 deep breaths. But yeah, mate, epic. That day for the 12th anniversary was beautiful, just to catch up with all the friends and family for the freedom movement. I think it's the harder this gets, we realise that we've only got each other to rely on, and that's in all ways. The more the government takes from us, the establishment, the corporations demand more and more, and we've just got no time left, no money left. Food's getting struggling. We find we're turning to each other, just the way we've travelled across the front this last 12 months. And it's a beautiful thing. Soon the government will realise that we really don't need them, because we have got each other. So in this new round of awakening that seems to be happening now, I'm very sorry to have to bring the truth to the forefront to them and understand how shocking it is. It is very shocking, but we're going to be there, right there for you the whole way. It's just a reminder, just love and kindness and compassion to each other. Just hold the line. We're almost there. This isn't the time we turn on each other. We're allowed to have our differences, but we've got to get right behind everyone. And if someone's in a theatre on the front, or a theatre of war, so to speak, in this country, about to step up the fight, support them. Just get behind them, mate. We've just got to keep at the throat, so to speak, of the devil as they're, I honestly believe they're capitulating across the country.
I was going to ask you, what's your feeling on it, Dan? Because I've got to say I'm feeling pretty positive. I don't know if it's got to do with the sun's rays that are being ejected to us, the frequencies that are coming to us. I don't know if it's because I've been around a few people recently who've given me a bloody good laugh. But look, my vibration is, by my standards at least, going pretty high at the moment, and I'm hoping that others is as well. We all have challenges in our life, and that isn't going to change, at least not any time in the near future, I dare say. But as long as we can get around friends, get around people who will support us, uplift us, and will pick us up when we're feeling just that little bit down, we are moving forward, living our life, raising our vibration, mate. So, and it's awesome to see that you've got a little bit of colour in you too, because, well, you start to look a bit pasty after hanging around.
Yeah, I am going to take it, mate. Well, I've got the moment. I'm not going to shy away. I'm going to take up the sun and getting out on the walks on the beach, a little bit of fitness, just get back day one, because I think there's another step up in the fight here, and I want to be ready for it. As, like I said, these people wake and more of the deceit comes out. And, yeah, mate, so yeah, I've been doing exactly that game plan, catching up with friends and family around the place. And another reason why I've come up here to catch up with you and hopefully John in the very near future. Just remember what it's all about, because wherever you go, the war doesn't leave you, and you see people continuously struggling. So, yeah, but the thing is too, you're seeing more and more people, even if they don't have the whole picture, they really are angry about something. And so we'll be there to help them get that focus and tune it in. There's a very clear defined enemy, and once you name it and see it, we can then keep focus and go for the throat of the enemy, so to speak. There's no use getting frustrated with ourselves as we debate, Constitution 1901 Commonwealth of Australia versus Magna Carta and common law. We've all very intelligent people, and we're all bringing that to the fight to really appreciate each other, what we've got, the different levels we're on. We're really starting to see it now, but the vibration's getting there. Keep resonating it, and it comes in waves, mate. I'll tell you, as you know, and don't get frustrated.
Yep, absolutely.
So that's the other reason why I got out. So just to take a little bit of a fresh air. It was great to get up to Sydney and stand with the Patriots in Sydney, standing in solidarity with the Russians. And it's good to see the Freedom Rally starting to pick up again. People haven't forgotten yet, and they know the job's not done. So, whatever climax it is that we're waiting for, the time will come. But in the meantime, remain focused and hold the line. Yeah.
Absolutely. So let's talk about the two guys, which I think has now grown to 6 and is soon, I think, expected to grow to 15. And by the end of this, could well be 21 people running as independents along the lines of supporting Ricardo Bosi and Dave Graham. Mate, this movement stands a real chance of getting 1, maybe 2 people into the upper house of the New South Wales Parliament. When they announced this, did you really give them a snowball's chance in hell?
Mate, I did, mate. They're the people we need. They're the right people in this time in history to do the job. And you've got the lieutenant colonel there, mate. Like, you would pray for a bloody bloke like him to be fighting for us at this time, mate. You don't get in their way, and unless you're going to sort of step into that theatre, like you said, now we've got the 6 and maybe more, you get 100% behind them. But those people stepping in are 100% behind them, and they're inspired by people like Guru and Bosi. General Guru, mate, well, he's got nothing to lose, mate, and he's not doing it for kicks and giggles. He's not doing it for the fame or the money or anything, mate. He just wants to go at him. He's had enough. You give those guys a gig, mate. You get behind them. Now, and there's a lot of people out there that have to make that moral decision, do I just sit back and stay out and watch, or do I engage? Well, this is the real front at the moment in Australia. We can see it, and we get to bloody watch it, and we get to see these two guys have a crack. Mate, there's a good chance here that they just even might be able to bloody break some algorithms, if not, at the very least, prove the elections fraudulent beyond as we've always known. But you get behind them, mate. So if anyone's thinking about whether they want to vote or donkey votes, or whether even they should enroll to vote, I think this is the time now. I mean, you can't just sit this one out. They're going to catch up with you anyway. You haven't got the freedom to run away and hide or be a fence sitter. Mate, this is the time to stand up and try and make your vote count. We know the elections are fraudulent, but, you know, the momentum behind these guys is incredible. This is the stuff of the Australian culture's made of, mate. And we get to see it, we get to watch it, and it's got a definitive time frame, mate. 25th of March. They're making it very transparent. You put in your vote on the day, and then you get on their website and make sure they know that you voted. It's the best we've got, mate. And if these two blokes, who are our champions in this fight, have decided to tackle this cabal this way, well, then get 100% behind them, mate. Mate, I love them, both of them. They're beautiful people. They're very God-loving and family men, and they're your mate. They're your brother in arms. So put all the little bickering, piddly bullshit away, mate. Two heroes in the fight here. Get 100% behind them. Let them have a fucking crack. Let them shake that tree, mate, and you see what they do, mate, because they're not here just for talk. They are walking the walk, these blokes.
Yep, absolutely. And it doesn't matter if you don't like them or you think they're rough around the edges or whatever. The fact of the matter is, you weigh your vote up against, are they worse or better than the people who are already in the job? Are you going to back the same Labor, Liberal, Greens, fucking mess that turns into politics? Or, because you're not going to change it, we're never going to change it like that. But this way, we can get eyes in the game. We can get two blokes, honest people, who will give the people representation in that place, and they will point out the corruption much more. I reckon they will go back and historically expose what's been going on, and that has to be something good for all the people. So put aside your petty party politics. And Steve here says, how can Guru and Bosie swap votes and whatnot? Well, you can nominate, and I think the way that it'll be is, I think they're running as a group and a group of independents, and then all votes can essentially be given to one member of that group. And if that tallies 4.5%, then that member gets a seat. If it tallies 9%, then two members get seats. So the best they're really probably going to get is one. It'd be great if we could get two. And wouldn't it just be the best, most wonderful example of a protest vote that this country had ever seen if we got all six or more in? It would just go to show the sentiment that the people, particularly in New South Wales, really have. Now, regardless of Bosie and Guru, there's no power associated with this election for them. All they can do is observe for the following 4 years or whatever the term is. So there is no risk to you in giving your donkey vote rather than drawing a dick on the ballot. Don't tick a dick. Tick a name that's going to make sure that the dicks get caught in that place. And support Bosie and Guru, and we will have two sets of eyes in that place, folks, and you're not going to believe the absolute truth that they will tell, that they will expose. And it has to be exposed, folks. We can't go on living like this. You know we can't go on. The people who are still awake, still asleep, they know we can't go on like this. They're looking now at their mortgage payments. I've got a friend I saw the other day asked how the mortgage payments have been affected. They told me that their mortgage has just about doubled. Their payments have just about doubled in the last 12 to 18 months. Gone from $800 and something to $1,600 and something a month, and really putting a lot of pressure on the whole family. This is happening all over the place. Folks, it can't continue going on like this. The bankers cannot keep doing this to us. And there are some just really weird signs in the banking and housing industry, particularly, that indicate things are not quite, I think, as they seem. The housing industry is saying, nothing to see here. Prices are on the way up. Well, how can they be on the way up? There's another 0.25 basis points increase coming in the next few days. The Reserve Bank, cough, cough, splutter, their act is saying, well, we're going to keep putting it up and keep putting it up and keep putting it up for the rest of this year. That'll be interest rates. So they're going to be driving people into the streets homeless because they can't afford to pay their mortgage. And then, of course, there's nowhere to rent. Dan, I've noticed you do have a little bit of room in the trailer. I've got a reasonable sized trailer. We might be backing up, renting ourselves out.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, things aren't that bad yet, but I suppose we're one step ahead because that's pretty much where they're pushing us, is onto the streets. Hence, again, why even in this election, one thing they're bringing really good attention to is their constituents, mate. They're going to show the power of that word constituents and understand that there's actual real people out there who want to make a difference if you give them a chance. Now, the A1, they're huge, mate. They're even big over across WA. And God bless WA while you're there, all the Wazzy Warriors. But they've been obviously trying at this now for quite a few bloody years and haven't got a gig at all. They haven't got selected as such. It's been obviously, all the filters in place just will not allow them to get through. So this is where they've come to. This is how they're going to do it. This is like a last chance before, because otherwise we really are relying on the military to step in. And I really hope they're making the moral right decisions there, as there's talk of going to Ukraine to support our government in Ukraine. And the Ukrainians are all wearing Nazi stickers and ISIS stickers. So if our government's supporting ISIS soldiers over there, and the footage you showed me, that's not soldiers, that's just gutless bloody militia, that sort of stuff. But if this is the stuff that our government's trying to push us all into, well then, mate, this is where we need to make that moral decision. You don't send our soldiers now to fight alongside Nazis and ISIS, mate. And I really hope our soldiers are hearing it. But once again, the main front here at the moment, while we do our things, making the stand in Canberra at the Governor's, the umbrella crew in WA, just an enormous effort, mate. Relentless they are. Unite and White vigils. But the New South Wales election, that is our front at the moment. It's the get 100% of them, watch this space, speak highly of them, and mate, just give these guys a gig, and that's how hard it is to get them in, mate. Yeah.
I don't know that I fully subscribe to the Fats theory that Guru goes good. He's like a dog humping your leg. But he certainly goes hard. Oh, that's probably a bad analogy after that too, isn't it? So, look, get behind him.
I reckon Guru's laughing anyway,
mate.
Wind up with... mate, I got him. Yeah. He's a fantastic character, mate. Yeah, he really is. And anyone who's bagging on him, they're really missing the beauty of those two people. Because remember, you're not just voting in Bosie and Guri, you're voting in those first ladies who are standing solid behind them. You know, Rhiannon and Mel, mate, they just make these two men powerful, and keep them up, keep them going. So you're actually getting quality people here with a real mindset and love for one another and the community. So, and they're cookers. Go the cookers.
Absolutely.
Cookers will be hunting snakes.
And they're our cookers.
They're our cookers, mate.
Yep. Yeah. And they're our cookers, as John Wilson points out very clearly in just about every video that he does. They are our cookers. And if they're going to be called cookers, then bugger it. We're going to own them, and we're going to support them. So get into it, New South Wales. You have the opportunity here to be absolutely historic in what you're doing. It could be the greatest protest vote Australia has ever seen. A real protest vote, as somebody posted up in the chats there before. Don't let your donkey vote go to waste. Make it a vote against the cabal. Vote for Bosie and Guru. Think that works real well. It does. You don't have to like them. They're not going to gain power over you if you do vote for them. What they are going to do, though, is give you an opportunity to see for yourself the corruption that's going on inside the parliaments. And look, Dan, we have to be serious. That is dangerous business, isn't it? I mean, it's not something that they've gone into lightly. We know that Satanists have been down around Dave and Mel's boat while they haven't been there, putting spells or trying to cast hexes or whatever it is Satanists do. Now there are people keeping an eye on the boat as well while they're away from it during the day or whatever they're doing. So this is exceptional. The Cooker crew, if you like, have come together to protect them, but there is danger on many levels with what they're doing here, simply because the risk of them getting in is so real that the cabal can't just ignore it, can they?
No, they can't. It's very real. I'm proud of me mates that have come up from Canberra to actually help look after Guru there. Little Steve, mate, you're an absolute legend, Australian legend, always the right place, right time to help.
Absolutely.
And he's got a little sparky there, mate, and that keeps a lot of them going. But yeah, these guys are very, well, the establishment, so to speak, they're so scared. They're employing all assets, basically. Now Australia gets to see the police force move as a foreign entity, as a mercenary force against the free people to shut us up again. So the arrest of Guru was politically motivated. There's nothing shy of it. And just for the court case to be on the 16th of March and leave him just a little bit of time, I mean, that's just, once again, gutless stuff. That's not how you play cricket. But that's how low they'll go to try and win again, and just to keep us, the free people, out. So yeah, it's very important, mate. Satanists, it's very real. That's who they go for. That's who they've always sort of paid homage to, and that's why we know our government is just an arm of the unholy Vatican and the criminal crown in that satanic ritual stuff. But we've got God on our side. Adorn yourself with the full armor and fight, as John Wilson has always stated and put it so bloody perfectly, mate. That's how real this is. Don't let them bully and trying to push us out and get away with it. Once again, the police, they are making that moral choice too. I know a lot of them are getting these orders and they're seeing through it now. And God bless you as you do this. You can't put on the uniform and just think you're removed and beyond reproach. No, you are still a human being, and you've got to bring your heart and your common sense and all the good stuff, the honesty, the integrity, the bloody responsibility, the love and care for your community. But that hasn't been what our police have been showing. But you see more and more they're coming to side. They really are. A lot more government workers are starting to ask those questions and not taking the verbatim New World Order responses as an answer and saying, no, this isn't bloody good enough. So as it's happening all around the world, as the media hides it from us consistently, that seems to be the last, foundation that we really need to crack through. An indictment on 2GB, the way they treat us, just giving one side of the story and running like wusses. It's up to the people in this country, mate. You guys have got to make these radio stations talk about it. You've got to get on the chats as the Prime Minister, whatever he bloody thinks he is. But as he comes up on his press release conferences, mate, just keep hitting it, mate. Digital diggers, just keep going. Do not let them get away with it, mate. We've got them running as it is, mate. They are that scared that they will arrest poor old Guru like he's the biggest threat. Well, guess what? He is the biggest threat, and put him in the seat and you'll see what this.
Absolutely. They've taken all of his electronics. That was what was on the warrant. And the only other stuff that they took, all his election stuff, all the pamphlets that he'd had printed up and the paraphernalia that goes along with running for an election. They took all of that, but they haven't. That wasn't on the warrant, but they took it, and all his computers and phones and all that sort of stuff. No, absolutely not. I mean, how stupid are these people? I mean, they have effectively martyred him.
Yeah, desperate to stupid.
To the freedom movement. Yeah. Desperate to stupid, I suppose. But they are also quite wicked and extremely deceptive.
Yeah, we know that, mate. And yeah, well, I didn't come here because it was all going nice and pearly and peaches down there, mate. I came here just because I needed to get back to God and feel the light. And I found that here in Queensland beautifully. But I'll be back in a few days and standing right behind me good mates in Phil and Corey and Hazel and all the other warriors down there and get this job done. But yeah, mate, pray, mate. Just pray. Even if you're sitting back, if that's all you can do, that's probably the most powerful thing you can do. God's waiting to hear from us, and we want our law back. We want all the good stuff back, as they've snuck it away from us. It's been nothing shy of the devil himself, mate, and that's who that's who they've always been banking on to win, mate. They don't care about us, and the more of the stuff we keep knowing. So what do we do now? We don't turn on each other. We unite across the bloody front. Just show a real united stand as Australians, and keep focused clearly on the enemy at hand, which is that bloody corporation that's posing as a government, mate, a foreign entity with an ABN number. And back each other up.
Yeah. The big thing that I suppose for normies is to begin to try and understand that. There are probably, there are so many big things that people who are just starting to wake up really need to have a good look at. So many rabbit holes they need to just stick head, shoulders, maybe go down waist deep into, and rather than climbing the whole way down, and get a bit of an idea of who's who in the zoo, because there are so many different things you need to be aware of in the waking up process, really, aren't there? I mean, there is this side that we're talking about here now. Then there is the satanic side, of course. Then there is the pedophilic side. We are struggling, I guess, some of us, to come to terms with just, there you go, the 28. Absolutely. We are struggling as a nation to come together to understand that the wool has been pulled over our eyes in this way. And those normies who are still steadfastly refusing to believe any truth, we know one day soon the people are going to split. There'll be those that understand what's going on, and there'll be those that don't. What do you think might come of those that don't?
Oh, mate, I've got to put them into God's hands. Like I said, everyone's worth fighting for, and that's just that's the spirit in which I engage it with. But don't go like me and do an absolute free fall down the rabbit hole, just like give it to me. And I'm sitting at the bottom saying, I've got everything. And they go, is it real? I'm saying, I don't know. Just get down here and help me figure it out. I've got everything. There's enough here. There's enough here without going crazy anymore, like I suppose a few of us did in the beginning, because we were trying to find the truth from the deceit. And that's why we found ourselves praying to God and Jesus to help us discern our truth. Like I said, it's not like I'm a preacher or a priest or like a born-again Christian. I'm just, here we are with this little bit of truth. And guess what, mate? God is with us, and take that, because he loves us very much. And it's so dark and sinister, this rabbit hole of deceit, that once we find our way out of this, we'll be left with no choice but to know that God is there and he loves us very much. But, mate, just look at what's there at the moment, mate. The fight for exposure 28 and the pedophilia, and then finding the Governor General without any power of authority and no jurisdiction, and understanding that our government's a corporation. We haven't even touched on the COVID stuff really on that front, due to the maximum amount of censorship. And there's another one, the full censorship of freedom of speech. The fact that they've stolen our any sort of constitution or law to put up their legislations and mandates, made it a knee-jerk reaction. Just those enough, surely. Come on. Isn't that enough for us to stand? Do we have to really wait for these banks to fully close, the fuel prices to skyrocket, the shelves to get empty, when we can already see it across the world? Do we have to really, haven't we learnt about these wars and the false reasons that they've been sending our diggers up against an enemy that they've also funded? Can we wake up here? There's enough here already.
Yeah.
To people angry and stay angry and actually almost hitting the streets. Mate, it's almost at that stage that if something doesn't happen soon, we'll be up there ourselves dragging these mob out by the ears, mate, I tell you. So, but things are happening behind the scenes, like even in the ACT at the moment, there seems to be a large number of magistrates suddenly retiring. Now, I can't go into it too much. My court case will be there, but the mood of
Yep.
people in the magistrates that work there in the centre, shaking hands and actually asking us to win. They've had enough of it, understanding the depravity of the digital ID as they start forcing on us, whether we like it or not, and the legislation still in draft form. Yeah, mate, it's starting to happen, the shift. The people are starting to talk. So the best way is to not throw every part of the rabbit hole down their throat. Just support them with their message and what they're waking up with, and focus it to where it relates to the corporation that's doing us all the harm. And then the other thing is just baby steps. Get to your stand in the parks. I mean, that was a great initiative. I know it almost seems like more of the same now, but that's where the people are meeting at grassroots. And when you go to them, they're beautiful people and they're just as frustrated as ever, but they'll get you onto the right information, the right links, the right people, to the real people in the fight, like yourself, Carl, like the Bosies and like John Wilson's and the Uniting Whites, the ones that are really making a stand. And once they see a hero and see some true patriots who are relentless, not going to stop and are fighting for them, well, then hopefully we can just find their hearts and then they can be brave enough just to stand up, and even if it's just
the thing is,
ticking a box on a voting sheet. Sorry.
Yeah. See, and our patriots, our heroes, come in all sizes. We've got them from kids 8, 10, 12 years old, all the way through to 90-year-old grandmothers who will get out there and walk or roll as far as they need to on any protest given day, and they'll bring an umbrella, rain, hail, or shine, because they'll wave the bloody thing around and use it to protect themselves if they have to. Always be careful of old women carrying umbrellas. I can tell you, they're dangerous. Our heroes come in all ages, all shapes, all sizes, all colours, all creeds, all religions. It just goes to show that, I guess, our mob is very united, very unified.
Yeah. They're very
that should really worry the likes of the
and they're Australians.
I guess they're kind of our mob.
I mean, you got Australians uniting with the Iranians on Parliament lawn, finding that common ground and supporting each other.
Yeah. It doesn't get any better than that, I don't think. The fact does raise an interesting question. The people will choose comfort over the truth. Now, that's essentially how we've got ourselves into this position. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. The fence sitters just watching it happen, or the blissful ignorance, so to speak. But they can keep those blinkers on if they like. But this is just going to sideswipe them, mate, because we haven't been lying about any of this. It's and we've been in it a while now. It's hurts us, but mate, we're just going to be there and hug them into it, I suppose. But there'll be those ones that really just cling into the death. But have your blissful ignorance, but don't weaponize yourself against us or become a bollard while those real people try to make a stand and do what to fight for that freedom that we've even forgotten existed, mate.
Yeah. That's exactly right. In fact, we've forgotten what freedom really means. Hoodie has come out publicly and said to him, freedom, he knows he's free if he can get on a plane and fly over to West Australia to see his grandkids. Freedom means a lot more than that. Freedom means somebody can say pretty much what they like. And whether you like it or not, they do have the right to say it. Now, of course, there are limitations. There are, societal trends, things that society pushes back on. Pedophilia being a very clear and probably good example, in that mainstream society pushes back and calls it for what it is. The progressives in the society would have us believe that they've come up with a much nicer name for it, something to do with loving somebody underage. And they're trying to normalize, they're trying to take the stigma away. And we've even had Albanese in the last few days twerk out something that basically said the same thing. We should be changing the language around pedophiles. I reckon we should too. That language should be fucking bang.
It should be, mate. There's no yes, there's no room for it, mate. Not one child a day go missing. There's no room for it. Then this woke culture is getting defeated by common sense and a moral standing, basically. But mate, these minds are warped. Don't facilitate these warped minds as they try to tell you all these things and how they prefer to be identified, mate. They've lost touch with reality. They're deluded in the illusion that has been quite premeditated against us in all these movies and the transgender agendas. It is as dark and deceitful, and you can't just sit back and watch it keep going on, mate. Why? Because they're grooming our bloody children. No. It's blatant. Even the Queen did it when she held up a rainbow asking everyone, put up a rainbow in your house for the national health system. Mate, we don't even have a national health system, but all these kids are running and putting up the little rainbows. That is how deep the deceit and the grooming is, mate. And that is what has got us all here. That's what drives Corey every day to stand there with his flag, mate. It is that important, mate. Yeah. Mate. And it's about time I think these females did start standing up and taking their sports back just by forfeiting games or not rocking up, mate. Just make a spectacle of it, because these people are trying to make a spectacle of them and steal everything pure about what they've put into it and all those hard-fought rights for women, and it's just getting now bloody mocked in front of us all. Make the stand. They cannot get away with it, mate. But see a broken mind for a broken mind and a demon for a demon, mate. It's right and bloody wrong. There's no ifs and buts, and there's only two bloody sexes, mate. I'm not going to accommodate them. I'm not going to bloody start folding into their little woke cultures and the way they want to identify themselves. So ultimately, so they can't be held responsible for any of their actions. Bullshit, mate. You will be held responsible.
Exactly,
yeah, mate. But they're all severe fights, and our people are still sleeping, and even one should be enough to wake. But once you connect the dots and see that's all premeditated by this establishment, our country sold us out, New World Order agenda, mate, it's right there in front of us. Even the bloody Pope's starting to show his colours, mate, if he's even there, the digital version of it, whatever. But pure Satanism, mate. There's no such thing as a new world religion or a one world religion, mate. There's right and there's bloody wrong. Turn to Jesus and God will save you, mate. He's the only one who can redeem it. Here I am again, and all glory to God, and God bless you all, because it is that real, and we're going to need him on our side, and I hope he bloody protects you all. Gives you the spirit to get up and get in there, mate. The old Aussie spirit.
That's exactly right. I mean, we are known for our fighting spirit. We do not give up. We fight from adversity better than any other nation. We fight from a position of disadvantage better than any other nation. Many other nations that we've fought beside have acknowledged that, our fighting forces are superior. That's because it comes from here. That Aussie toughness, that fuck 'em. We're not going to let them win. That Aussie stubbornness and that good old Aussie ingenuity, a bit of fight, and, of course, a bit of good. That makes all the difference, I think. And Aussie humour is also legendary around the world on our battlefield.
Yeah. They didn't do it for the corporation or the government or for some global entity or anything like that, mate. They did it for their mates, for their bloke standing right but next to them. They wouldn't let anything happen to them. They'd make sure they're fit as hell, because the better they were, the safer they were, you are. They did it for their families at home. And like I said, the generations were sacrificed to this war. The generations of knowledge that didn't get passed down to the children and the grandchildren, the nephews and the nieces. We underestimate that, and it's a big reason probably why they're able to really crush that nuclear family, the father, the mother, and the children. Mate, we need more time. It's just distraction upon distraction. Don't fall for the distraction. If anything, the only thing we can't get is more time. Everything should be all about more time with the children. Come back, because these people, everyone's at work and distracted. The children are getting taught by the wrong people, mate. They're looking to the wrong false idols. And this is what happens. You get all this warped stuff coming through the schools now, mate. whatever happened to the curriculum of maths, English, science, and social studies?
The only reason it's coming through the schools, but the only reason it's coming through the schools is because the bloody universities are teaching those kids who've already had it pre-fed into them in their latter high school years, or their, right now it's starting at kinder. So by the time they get to university, they are fully, completely brainwashed. And I don't even think they teach in universities anymore. They just program. They found what they want people to do. We want you to be woke. We want you to, care about social issues rather than about real ones. Well, not to say that social issues aren't real, but to ignore illegal, crazy things and swallow bullshit. Now, they are just, unfortunately, our universities are full of students being pumped full of this shit by professors and academics who think they've got a great idea. And I'll tell you what, mainstream media lost another one today. Peter Van Oosterhuizen, whatever his name is, from Channel 10, the political reporter from there, he's bailed. 4 years in the gig. Oh, no, you can see that Channel 10 is sinking, better than a lead sinker. So he's gone. Where has he gone? Back to academia. So he's one of the people that's going to go back and teach our kids that Peter's telling us. I don't know, he might be doing a school on Christmas Island for people. We could live in hope, I guess. That's the way I'd be looking at it. Mate, I'll let you go because I know dinner is probably on the table and waiting for you. And you have been fairly busy working on your case, I guess. Can you, without getting yourself in any trouble, 17th of March, your case is due to be heard again in Canberra.
St. Patrick's Day.
Are you facing that day?
Yeah, I'm presenting myself to fight off the assault charge, obstruction, and trespass. But mate, I have a right to peacefully protest, and I was peacefully protesting there that night. Mate, I'm going to hold the police accountable to their code of conduct in being honest and not discriminating and harassing. I'm going to hold the court accountable to perjury until they can prove the corporation, unless prove the police are not acting as a corporation. Things like that, mate. I don't change the game plan. I'm not going to enter their system as such. I'm just going to keep proving why the judge or the magistrate, there's no judges, mate, why the magistrate has no power of authority as the lifeblood flows through me, mate. And I'll do all I can. Look, there's the real danger of going to, getting locked up here, but I'm not going, at the end of the day, I'll be able to look myself in the mirror and know that I did all I could to stand as one under God in that room. And if anything, it'll just prove them more criminal. They'll have to conduct, like the last one, mate, just perverting justice, just as they try to save their own souls, deluded in their own illusion of what they think is law.
Absolutely.
And we want law back, by the way. We want a real law.
Absolutely. I'll let you know what happened to a lady. It sounds like I'm bragging about it. I'm not, but we haven't spoken since this all happened. A lady up north in Gympie, 80-odd years old, fell over, broke a collarbone or hurt a collarbone. She was going off to a medical facility to get it scanned, and while driving there, she went underneath one of those seatbelt mobile phone kind of scanning photo-taking things that raises revenue for the government. They sent her a fine. Yep. Sent her a fine for $440 and 5 points, I think it was, off her license because she had the seatbelt under her arm rather than over her, damaged shoulder. She was looking for, some way she could maybe get this, dismissed, and it wasn't going to happen. They were definitely chasing her for the money and the points. And I suggested that she simply walk into the court, plead not guilty, and ask for a jury trial. And they threw her out. Yeah, threw the case out.
Did they? So yeah, We haven't had that success in the ACT Magistrates Court, because that would be the Magna Carta coming. You know, that's the one thing. You have the right to trial by jury, but they won't go there. They will not listen. We basically had the numbers of our own jury.
Trial by jury. So trial by jury is one thing. That is Magna Carta, but they don't have trial by jury in that court. They have a jury trial, which is different. And in the Magistrates Court all over Australia, under Australian law, you are 100% entitled to a jury trial. If you request it, they can say, oh, no, that's going to cost too much money. Well, bad fucking luck. I want a jury trial, and it is my right to have one. And you can go and present your arguments in front of the 12 good and true. Of course, in Canberra, before you were going to do that, you would have to request your case to be moved out of Canberra because of all the bullshit. And I've seen the bullshit firsthand from the media in Canberra. Have blown up what's happened with not just you lot, but all the absolute lies. I mean, I'm sure there were probably the odd messes in some places, but I mean, I had a lot to do with you guys, following you guys around, and there was never a mess anywhere after you've been for your stands on a daily basis. In fact, there was nothing but love, politeness, and education for everybody. And yet, the Canberra people were G'd up by their media to hate you and not be welcoming to any of you in any way, shape,
Un-Australian.
or form. Well, it's very un-Australian, but then again, so is Canberra.
Yeah.
You know, it's just it's a bureaucratic wasteland. So,
it is, mate.
You know,
just touching on that. Just touching on that court case, mate. As that lady goes forward, who's the victim here? Who are they trying to present as the victim and get a compensation for? It's the Australian corporation, which is ultimately Lucifer's bank account. It's got no identity. You haven't hurt anybody except what their bank account, the same corporation that is moving all assets against you and me and the public to deceive us and ultimately kill us. And it couldn't be more blatant than that. That isn't the victim. We are the victim. There's no way that Australian corporation and the judiciary supports it and actually tries to bring money into the coffers for the victim, which is an Australian corporation, unconstitutional without any power of authority. That's the fight right there.
Yeah.
So once again, there's a lot of different fronts, and there's one right there in the judiciary, and real people are really having a crack at it. So once again, please get behind us. St. Patrick's Day in ACT Magistrates Court, mate, and I'm not going to hold back. If anything, I'm really going to make sure that this, well, if he stands up and does his tricks like last time, he will be arrested, mate. I'm going to make sure of it, mate. They're not going to put me away for their deceit and have the bloody Australian corporation that I helped bloody ultimately fight for be the victim in this when they've moved all assets against us, the free people.
Yep. 100%, mate. 100%. All right, I'll let you go and get into your dinner tonight, and thank you very much for taking the time. We will catch up over the next couple of days and wind up having a beer and a steak somewhere, hey?
Yeah, really hope so. That'll be the way to do it, and I'll be back down Canberra way within about 10 days. But here for a few days in Brisbane. Catch you, mate. I think I'm off.
All right, mate. We'll sort that out. We'll catch up the next day. Looking forward to it. Cheers. Dan, what for the last 12 months? Bloody wonderful man he is. And if you can get behind him, happen to be going to Canberra around that time, the 17th of March, he'll be at the Canberra courts, and all the support that you can bring would be gratefully received. Speaking of support, there is a ton of it going around at the moment. You might have seen the show the other night where we spoke with Michael Offey, brother of Paul, from the Freedom Truck. And I just wanted to let you know that your generosity is wonderful, folks. Voice of Freedom viewers have so far raised over $2,500 to help Paul in his quest for some legal representation to try and get this truck back. So thank you, folks. Thank you so much. I'm just passing on Paul and Michael's greatest thanks, because they rang me this afternoon to make sure that I would let you guys know that they're so thankful for what you've done so far. They're still a long way short of what's required. I was just looking to see if I had their Fundly thing still up, and I don't, unfortunately, not on this banner pack. But I can put the Fundly thing back up on another time, or you can go to Facebook and go facebook.com/Freedom Truck, I think it is, or Help Freedom Truck maybe, and you'll be able to find links to the Fundly page there if you'd like to donate a couple of bucks and help Paul get that truck back. The bastards have worked very hard to keep it from him, so we do want to make sure that he gets it back. Bill, what have you got here? Men should not be drinking beer. Beer is bloke say. Oh, well, there you go. I probably won't be drinking anything because I seriously think I'll be doing the driving. That'll be the fun part of what's going on there. I'll tell you, how long have we been going? Nearly an hour. I do have a couple of little things that I did want to show you. Let me have a look. This is probably the biggest thing I wanted to show you, folks. This is something about eliminating the soul. Now, we've all heard over the years that they were trying to eliminate the soul. Well, turns out many, many moons ago, a gentleman by the name of Rudolf Steiner had a great plan. His plan was, in the future, we will eliminate the soul with medicine. Under the pretext of a healthy point of view, there will be a vaccine by which the human body will be treated as soon as possible directly at birth, so that the human being cannot develop the thought of the existence of soul and spirit. To materialistic doctors will be entrusted the task of removing the soul of humanity. As today, people are vaccinated against this disease or that disease, so in the future, children will be vaccinated with a substance that can be produced precisely in such a way that people, thanks to this vaccination, will be immune to being subject to the madness of spiritual life. He would be extremely smart, but he would not develop a conscience, and that is the true goal of some materialistic circles. With such a vaccine, you can easily make the etheric body loose in the physical body. Once the etheric body is detached, the relationship between the universe and the etheric body would become extremely unstable, and man would become an automaton, for the physical body of a man must be polished on this earth by spiritual will. So, the vaccine becomes a kind of Aramaic force. Man can no longer get rid of a given materialistic feeling. He becomes materialistic of constitution and can no longer rise to the spiritual. From Rudolf Steiner, 1861 to 1925. 1861 to 1925. We know it's been going a long time, folks. A bloody long time. And they've been hiding it in plain sight. So, yeah, there you go. It is pretty horrifying. Sunflower, I haven't said good evening to you tonight. God love you. Thank you so much for your attendance as usual. And J11, thank you for your sticker. I appreciate that. I saw that coming through. Why is it the Germans are always trying to take over the world? I don't know. I'm sure the answers will be forthcoming, but right now, they are beyond me. Yes, by all means, go and do a bit of research on Rudolf. If I've got it wrong, I have no doubt somebody will let me know. Thankfully, though, I'm able to wear my screw-ups when they come along. Thank you, too, for the nice comments about the new opener. Yes, I did have a bit of fun making it today. And so much fun, I'm going to play it again as a closer. Have yourself a good night. Tomorrow night's going to be a Rumble-only show, folks. Chris has been promoting it, I think, in the chat. So Starseeds and Patriots of Down Under will be joining us along with Bob. Bob will be coming in, beaming in from Perth, and we are talking Tartaria, giants, and, well, all other hidden ancient things. That's coming up tomorrow night's show, the Friday Free-for-All with Bob and Chris. I think he wishes he had Bob as a name too, Chris. But anyway, Starseed will be with us too. That's 7:30 Eastern Daylight Savings Time tomorrow night, 6:30 the normal time, if you like, for Queensland. And wherever you are in the rest of the world, I guess you'll just have to catch up. Whatever you do, if you're driving home from work to catch the show, make sure you avoid the